What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Extra Point Podcast, where we may miss the point, but we do not miss.
The
The
extra
extra
point.
point.
Anyway, so,
Close enough.
yeah,
Close
close
enough, yeah.
enough. Anyway, so, for those of you wondering, yes, we're back. Yes, we're missing a week. Blame audio file corruptions and shit. It's whatever, it happens. Anyway, so, Luigi, since we weren't able to upload our last episode, you want to give a rundown of the standings for picks and stuff?
Oh, I would gladly. So, this week was a fun week, mainly because I dominated. I got 13 games correct. It was a phenomenal showing. Um, Hunter and John were right behind me. Hunter's second, John third. The overall standings, however, Hunter has a
Still on
slight.
top.
Yep, he's still on top, but by one game. 45 and 19. I'm in second, 44-20. John is in third, 39-25. Devon is 38 and 26, as well as AJ. And then Joey is 35 and 29, and then Alphonse is in last. Barely over 500, 34-30.
Okay, and we usually start off with the Thursday night game, but seeing as how two of our teams played each other, and I know Hunter's just dying to talk shit.
What? Me?
Might as well start with that.
First game up on the list, Carolina Panthers visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Hunter?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and get what I'm just going to want to mention out of the way. There was a very bad forward progress call. That being said, it was up until the end in which they had taken Trayvon Diggs out for just to rest him, which I disagree with. I feel like after they rest him for one drive, and then when it looked like they might have just been making a comeback, be like, oh, hold up, get back in there. But they still won, and I can't complain about that.
So I'm going to address the one thing. Yes, I am going to bring up that forward progress call. Do I think it impacted the game? Yes. Do I think that Carolina lost because of that call? No. Dallas won by what? 8 points, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
36-28.
Yeah. So even if you take away that forward progress call and the game plays out, we have what, a possible overtime situation. So there's no guarantee that Carolina would have won or lost that game, even given that call. What I will blame this loss on is the failure to stop people like fucking Zeke from running the ball down the fucking middle.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, you had Dak throwing only 180 yards but getting 4 touchdowns, and that's because of turnovers and Zeke and Pollard just pounding it down. They kept pounding.
Yeah, yeah. If last week was any indication that people were like, "Oh, Zeke is back, Zeke is back." Okay, it was 1 week. Let's see if he can do it again. And he looked like his old self. And obviously for Hunter and for Cowboys fans, that's a very, very good sight to see because it only took, you know, Dallas's backup to start doing good for him to be like, oh shit, I'm the starter.
I have to give
You know?
credit where it's due to Carolina though for staying in it because they were up
Oh yeah,
they were up like 14-13 going into the third quarter, and then Dallas just blew the game open. Carolina, of course, tried coming back, and this is without players like Christian McCaffrey and J.C. Horn, who
Dallas scored 22 points unanswered.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. But
Or 23 points unanswered, and had a 22-point lead suddenly in the third quarter after being down one. And so it was like, if it was any other team besides the Cowboys, I probably would have just turned the game off.
well, good news for Carolina fans. They just picked up Stephon Gilmore for a 6th-round pick. Does that help their front seven situation? No, but it shows that they just took a former defensive player of the year, and it looks like they're all in for this season.
I don't think their front seven's the issue. Yeah, we seen what Zeke and them did, but if we look at it on a season scale, this week was an anomaly because they had been putting up record numbers against the run.
Yeah, our front seven's pretty solid as it is. It's just when you have
My question sorry.
I think the big issue is the two running back scenario. It's hard to prepare for fucking Zeke alone, but having Pollard on top of it, you have to switch guys depending on who's running the ball at certain positions, and it's just a matter of trying to figure out and get the reads. And Carolina just didn't do that because against like single back teams, they haven't had much issue.
I think the real question with Stephon Gilmore is, yes, he is the former defensive player of the year and all those things. Former. And there's the whole thing about his injury and how serious it is. I think Gilmore's either going to be an all-star or a massive flop. I don't think it's going to be in between.
For Carolina.
Yeah.
All right, and I was out and about earlier, and obviously, anywhere where there's a TV, usually it's sports channels, and they were saying, obviously, you know how people are with the Cowboys. You know, they're 3-1, they're finally doing good wherever, and they were saying, "Oh, are they?" No, it wasn't that extreme yet, but they were saying, "Is Dallas the best team in the NFL with this win?"
I think they're top 5. And I'm not putting them at the top of that at all, but I think that they have an argument to be said for the top 5.
See, I'm going to say no. I don't even think they're better than Carolina with this win. I mean, Hunter, let's face it. Like with the players in the game, like on any given day with the players that we're playing, Carolina outright loses to Dallas 9 times out of 10 because it's just a simple fact they couldn't stop Zeke. But my argument for this is this. Do you think that without injuries, Dallas would have won this game?
Yes. Because that would mean taking away the fact of injuries on Dallas' side as well.
I mean,
Dallas isn't without injuries. Well, not to say that they're on the same level as a CMC, but these things do add up.
Oh, I mean, I'm not taking that away from Dallas at all. I'm just simply saying this. When it comes down to the game that happened, Carolina versus Dallas, Carolina lost, in my opinion, because they shot themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
I think that's been the case for both of the good teams that Dallas has beaten, Chargers and Carolina.
Oh no,
particularly the Chargers.
See, the Chargers, I feel, got screwed over more than Carolina did. I mean,
I think the Chargers. I'm gonna pull Vince McMahon. The Chargers screwed the Chargers. They had so many penalties, all the illegal the line shifts, like.
Okay, so
you can't win football like that.
Since we're talking about the Chargers,
to
Oh, you go
answer
ahead. My bad.
to answer Luigi's question about who the best team in the NFL is, it's the Arizona Cardinals.
I think they're number 2.
All right, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals and why they're potentially the best team in the NFL. So going into this game, and I'll say this: out of the 7 people in our prediction pool, only one person went Arizona. So
And it's not even the guy who has the most faith in them.
and yeah, and it wasn't Hunter, by the way. So it's crazy to think, okay, we've seen how dominant the Rams have been, how Matthew Stafford has looked, and hell, they're coming off of a win against Tom Brady, right? So you got to think, okay, this Rams team is it's going to be a good game, it's going to be a close game, but the Rams are going to come out on top, right? But Kyler Murray's been playing at an MVP level. Outside of that Jacksonville game, he's put the Cardinals in a position to just dominate. And I mean, he's an early front runner for MVP. James Conner is getting a lot of red zone touches. The defense is still looking top notch. AJ Green has dipped into the fountain of youth the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, is there anything wrong with this Arizona team? And was it just
I am going to say something that I do find wrong with Arizona, and that's the fact that in the majority of their games, they've let teams put up more points than what they should.
That's kind of my thing. Is they're not super. They're not as intent against teams that aren't the best. When you see them face a team like the Titans or the Rams, they're like, "Oh no, we are the best football team." And then you see them play the Jaguars, and you're like, we're a football team. By the way, for those that watch,
it's not even that for me, Hunter. It's the fact that for for a team that's been so dominant on offense, they've given up quite a few points against all of their opponents. I mean, last week I think was like the lowest margin of. Yeah, they had 19 points against put up that the Jaguars put up against them 20. Like,
so
other than the last 2 weeks, they've had pretty much a lot of points scored against them.
This is only tangentially related, but I wanted to talk about it. For those that watch Tom Grossi's NFC and AFC West reaction videos, particularly speaking about the NFC one, I just feel so bad for Grandpa Cardinal. I want to give him a hug and be his grandson. It's like, but seriously though, the Cardinals I think are the second best team, and the only team that I think is better, and it just comes down to a matter of consistency, that has been the Bills. I know it's the Texans, but 40-0.
yeah?
Luigi, anything you wanted to add about this game, though?
Yeah, real quick about the Rams, though, we can go to the obliteration game of the week. I mean, this wasn't a game. This was a okay. We've seen the consistency. Let them come back to earth a little bit, but this loss shouldn't worry any Rams fans. I mean, it's not like Matthew Stafford played terribly. It's not like the defense was,
He forgot he wasn't in Detroit, but
Yeah, so it just they can chill, right? They're still 3-1, second in the division, so they don't have to worry about all too much. Now, a team that has to worry is the Houston Texans, because they do, because
I don't think they had to worry any more than they already had to worry from the beginning of the year.
Well, I will say, before Tyrod Taylor went down, the first 2 weeks, Houston was playing pretty good. Yes, okay, granted, they were playing the Jaguars, but it's a division game. You know how division games are. They're always close. They're always intense, whatever. But the fact that they kept it close with the Cleveland Browns, who at the beginning of the season everyone was like they're one of the dark
yeah.
horses, one of the favorites to come out of the AFC. I mean, that says a lot. And then as soon as Tyrod Taylor goes down, all
The
hell
next man
goes
up.
loose. Yeah, Davis Mills out of Stanford, and he's definitely not going to continue the trend of quarterbacks replacing Tyrod Taylor. Whenever
Isn't
Tyrod gets healthy,
Stanford the same school Andrew Luck went to?
yes,
So no, they don't all have that quality.
no. He did break Andrew Luck's record for most passing yards, though, and Stanford
Really?
in a game. Yeah. But, that obviously did not translate well to the NFL. He was like 11 for 21, 87 yards, and 4 interceptions.
I just want to put it out there that Kenny Pickett should win the Heisman this year.
I have no idea who that is, but isn't it
Is he
early
a
to discuss
Nebraska
that?
player?
No, he's the quarterback for Pittsburgh.
Isn't it
For the
early to
Raiders?
discuss that? I'm genuinely asking since, as y'all know, I'm not as closely following. Then again, we're also discussing NFL MVP in Week 4, so...
Yeah, it's always way too early predictions. I have this game as my worst game of the week, by the way. This is more so of how dominant the Bills can be. One of the touchdowns was from the Nickelodeon valuable player, the only MVP.
Really?
Yep, he got a rushing touchdown late in the fourth because they benched Josh Allen because obviously they were going to win the game. And Mitchell Trubisky ran it in from like 5 or 6 yards out.
So
good for him.
My point about them being the best, I realize 40-0 against the Texans it's the Texans, but then you look at it through the last 3 weeks, and they've outscored their opponents 118-21.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking points in that amount of space.
And not much giving up on defense.
Oh yeah, they're not. I mean, they
played the last.
They gave up.
1 second, let me look.
The Dolphins, the Texans, and the football team. The football team scored 21 points. I think the Dolphins scored 0, didn't they? Yeah, the Dolphins scored 0.
I was going to say, because if the last 3 weeks and the football team scored 21, that's the whole 21 points.
Okay, so I'm going to make this argument. Football team had fucking Heineke in. And then the Dolphins and Texans both didn't have their starters either.
Well, okay, let me counter you with that.
Yeah,
the Dolphins' strong suit, and we've talked about this, the Dolphins' strong suit is their defense. So their offense can be run with both Brissett and Tua because they're practically almost the same kind of quarterback, just Brissett's bigger. The Texans...
Oh, see, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, the Bills haven't exactly had it hard the last 3 weeks is all I'm saying.
That's fair.
I kind of want to see them go up against a team that doesn't have many injuries.
Like Sunday?
Yeah, like Sunday.
Or not Sunday.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
it is this Sunday.
It is.
If they happen to beat the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes, I might consider them the best, but I don't think they're better than Arizona.
Well, here's the thing about that. It's going to be hard to because the Kansas City Chiefs are ranked either last or dead last in almost every defensive category at the moment.
Yeah, see, I think that I said it in chat, but I think the Bills are going to win by more than 2 scores. I'm not going to say they're going to skunk them like they have multiple times in the last 2 weeks. I'm not that crazy. But I see 2 teams with great offenses and 1 team with great defense.
Okay.
And that's as nice as I'm going to be.
When would the Bills' first defensive test be then?
All right, well, let's see. The Bills, after that, play the Titans.
Well, I mean, that is a defensive test. It's still Chiefs offense, but I think you mean the first offensive test?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I mean, they have the Chiefs, they have the Titans,
No,
and they got the
Titans.
Dolphins, the Jaguars, Jets,
Well,
Colts.
Dolphins are a
Saints.
defensive test, and they destroyed them.
The Bill. Okay, I'm looking at their schedule. Okay, they have the Chiefs and the Titans the next 2 weeks, but outside of that, their next test is week 18, 17, 16, week 14 against Tampa Bay.
They play Tampa Bay and
Outside of that,
Carolina back-to-back weeks. See, here's my
well,
argument.
we know
Guys,
what the
they're
Bucs
gonna
are
play
do
the
before the end of the
Jets.
season.
Yeah, see, anyway, here's my argument with this, right? Given the Bills' schedule and how easy it is, like, for them offensively to, like, score against these teams, do you think that that offense is good enough to beat a team like, say, fucking, I don't know, the Rams or fucking Arizona in the fucking playoffs? Because we've seen it 9 times out of...
Yes.
I'm going to give the biggest example I can give, right? Carolina 2015. We had probably one of the best offenses in the league and not that bad of a defense. Then we came up against fucking Denver and got fucking bitch slapped in the mouth.
Is that the game where y'all didn't dive on the fumble?
Yes.
Because I feel like Josh Allen might actually understand that concept.
Honestly, Josh Allen is another candidate for MVP, and if Aaron Rodgers didn't have his season last year, then Josh Allen was a lot of other people's favorites to win MVP last year, so he's already continuing that success again. And with the emergence of Zach Moss and Singletary playing good, you know,
I honestly think we should just
everything's
rename the
clicking
award
for
the
them.
MVQ, but
Okay, so for our next game, I'm going to go back and play a little game. It's called Are They Contenders? The answer is no, they're not.
you talking about the Broncos?
Yep.
Mm.
So this
Now, do we blame this loss on the
this
fact
game
that Teddy
answered
B
a
got
lot-
hurt?
No.
Teddy B wasn't the reason they were winning.
I believe that if Teddy B did not get hurt, this game would not have been as lopsided as it was. But Denver still loses this game.
I will say I really love the nickname for Teddy B, though. I don't know if y'all have heard it yet, but Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
I heard that.
I
I'm
like
like, that's amazing. I'm going to use that.
I mean, this was Denver's first test, and
They
they
failed.
look good the first drive, the first couple drives. Honestly, they're like the first quarter, defense is playing good as well, and then all of a sudden, you know, they came back to earth.
You know who did? I realize we're not jumping ahead to this yet, but the segue is too perfect. You know who didn't look good in the first quarter? The Seahawks. All right, back to the Broncos. That was too.
So, y'all picked the last game as your disappointment of the week. I actually picked this game as my disappointment
Well,
of the week.
Actually, no.
I
Luigi picked it as his most underwhelming.
Did y'all see the
I don't think
Broncos-
either of these games was the most underwhelming. I think the most underwhelming game of the week was what I was admittedly lured in by the hype for in the Bucs and the Patriots.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Did y'all see Vic Fangio get pissed at the end of the game when Baltimore went for the record?
Yeah.
Go suck a
tying
dick,
the
Vic
record.
Fangio.
Like, really? Like, why are you going to get pissed about that? It's not like they went to go score, right?
So actually, even if they did,
And as soon as they got the record, he slid down.
Here's my issue with it. His whole claim is it's about player safety. If it was about player safety, then why were you trying massive drives down 2 scores with just a minute left?
Yeah, when Drew Lock got intercepted in the end zone.
Like, they wouldn't have had a chance to break the record if you weren't going for it all. But they sat there and they're like, you know, they're not going to stop us because no one expects us to go for it here. Why not give our guys a little bit of a moral boost and get to do something to our rivals? And also, it's a man's game. Comes out sexist, I heard it when I said it, but you knew what I meant. Like, get over it. If you don't want the other team to score on you, stop them.
Exactly. And again, it's not like they went to go score on them. They just wanted the 4 yards, and then he went down. That's it.
But, like, I don't even care if they did. If they threw a Hail Mary into the end zone, I'd been like, nice, punk them.
No mercy for the. Yeah, this is a YouTuber that I watch, but his catchphrase is what's it called? No mercy for the Hall of Fame CPU.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Like,
score if you want to score.
If the losing team is allowed to play to the last second, then the winning team can play to the last second.
If it's fair.
See, me and Hunter were talking about this earlier. Like, when it comes to like blowouts and shit like that, a lot of people like don't even like their own team demolishing or blowing out an opponent. Like, I don't care if my team fucking scores on the other team until the clock hits fucking 0. Like,
exactly.
I want them to show no mercy.
It's entertaining. Like,
if you can, go for it.
Don't get me wrong. I anyone feel terrible watching my team get blown out, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it when I'm on the giving end.
Other side. Yeah.
Like, it's just a prideful feeling getting to see your team just score again and again and again.
And see,
yeah, because it's not going to be like that every week.
This is why I say the Broncos aren't contenders, and this game, even without fucking Teddy Bridgewater, fucking proved it. Because the Broncos, like, other than the first couple of drives, just looked like they were thrown around this whole entire game. So
the Broncos, honestly, I think remind me of last year's Dolphins. Because they have a really solid defense, but their offense is shaky at best. So I think they're going to be contenders for a playoff spot that they will not get.
Yeah. Now, we don't know. One more thing, we don't know how long Teddy B is going to be out, but do the Broncos start declining with Drew Lock in at quarterback?
I forgot to mention.
As long as their defense does its job, I don't think that they decline now.
I forgot to mention this earlier when we mentioned the Cowboys game. This isn't as much of a trash talk, just a funny thing that happened. An audible to do a draw play. Dak Prescott yelled, "Bob Ross, Bob Ross."
Because they got the Steelers next week. Me and Luigi were talking about this before you joined in, Hunter. And
yeah, Steelers are going to win that one.
No, I'm going with the Broncos to win. I honestly trust the Broncos defense and Drew Lock over Big Ben these days.
Over bum-ass, washed-ass Baron Corbin, Ben Roethlisberger?
I have the exact same feeling opposite. I trust the Steelers defense over bum-ass Drew Lock.
I don't even think Drew Lock's that bad.
He's
low-key.
I'm going to make the argument, current Drew Lock is better than current Big Ben.
I agree. But,
yeah,
honestly, I like TJ Watt, and I would have picked this. I'm glad I didn't, because they still lost.
See, TJ Watt's out, though.
No,
Oh, he's back.
he returned for the Packers game, which I would have still
Who?
probably picked the
Oh, T.J.
Packers,
Watt.
but yeah, I was
Oh,
watching the
Yeah.
Packers game and I was like, "Oh shit, he's back." That changes things.
oh well, T.J. Watt's
Yeah,
been.
let's segue into that game because I said it already. I'm gonna say it again. Big Bench is washed, and he should have retired last year. How many more
And the
times can
year
I
before
say it?
that.
You know how many times I get to say that? 17 weeks. Because I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna say every fucking week. Even when they won week 1, I said he was bum. He was washed. He was trash. The man just needs to go. All right, he needs to stop tarnishing his legacy. Because for the love of God,
I mean,
he
it's
he.
not like
You know how many times they went for it on 4th down, and he does a check down 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
I'm just
He
gonna
did that
make
every single 4th down.
See, I'm gonna make the argument that he
Every single
tarnished
one.
his legacy years ago.
yeah, like before he started playing in the NFL.
There's a whole
Oh
movie.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to retire. That's all I'm saying. And I
The
mean,
issue, and this is more of a Steelers issue than a Ben issue, because he refuses to retire, and because they refuse to treat him like the old man he is, what are they going to do? They don't have any bodies to replace him. Mason brain damage Rudolph?
They didn't draft anybody for quarterback, did they?
no, their backup is Mason Rudolph, which has brain damage.
Yeah.
So
Thanks to Miles Garrett.
because of Miles Garrett.
Yes.
Thanks to Miles Garrett.
So did you see the thing from Miles Garrett saying I wear a shirt without sleeves one time and they drug test me? Someone commented said, "Geez, how much do those damn helmets weigh?"
But yeah, I mean, on the opposite side of the ball, I mean, the Packers were the Packers. I mean, can you
As
not?
annoying as it is, because ugh.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, there's
so I'm just gonna say
you
it.
can't really.
I'm just going to say it now. Clearly, I was wrong about what the fuck I said week 1. I do not apologize for anything, and fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I still wish you were right. I mean, I wanted you to be right.
Yes,
If
sir.
for
You
no
go
other
to
reason,
RELAX. Relax.
if for no other reason than because watching Tom Grossi meltdown is rather entertaining.
Yeah. Relax. And since you were talking about Miles Garrett, let's go to. You could have picked it as another underwhelming game. It was just a really big defensive battle between Minnesota and Cleveland.
I liked the game actually from the highlights I saw.
I mean,
I mean, it
Minnesota
wasn't game of the
looked
week
good.
by any measure, but I thought it was serviceable.
They looked good the first couple drives, but then again, Cleveland's got a great defense.
That's really what I liked about it. Like Minnesota is a very high-powered offense, even with Kirk Cousins at the helm. I know, he's doing good this year, but I have to shit on him anyways.
There's something always wrong with Kirk Cousins, even when he's doing good.
But they held the Vikings as good as they've been on offense because their record is 1-3, but their record is 1-3 without the offense. They held them to 7 points.
Yeah, and that was on the first drive, and that's it. So they were able to play for 3.5 quarters with no worry, pretty much. The Browns. The one thing that a lot of people are bringing back up because it's been a talk ever since he got traded over there is the fact that Baker and OBJ in this game lost any magic that they had together, which wasn't much because they've never really been able to establish like good enough connection like a quarterback and receiver should. Now, is that more on Baker's end or is that more on Odell's end?
I think it's
I
more on
took on Odell.
Odell's end, honestly.
I'm just trying to scroll right now to see when Jarvis Landry can come back.
See
Hopefully soon.
when it comes
Fantasy game.
to Odell and Baker, I don't know. I've never really seen much of a dynamic between them. I honestly don't get why they even went after Odell in the first place.
I mean, I get why they went after him originally. That makes sense. When they did,
Yeah, to reunite him with Jarvis.
and back then, Odell looked like one of the best receivers in the game. I can say that now because he's a Brown and not a Giant. But no, really, he looked really good, and I joked about it, but I didn't actually believe he was just the catch. However, seeing him here, I do have to start to wonder: is there really truth to that claim?
He needed Eli. Eli didn't need Odell. Okay, y'all can laugh now.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I mean, it's just because Baker's not a bad quarterback.
No, I mean obviously he's powered by the run game, but I mean when you know how to manage a game and not, we saw the first couple of years with Baker how he turned the ball over a lot. He was making decisions on his own type thing. And granted, it wasn't his fault. He had a different offensive coordinator every fucking year. But, now that he has an established run game, he can control the game better and he doesn't have to make as many mistakes.
I think you also hit the nail on the head there with the coordinators. I think the fact that Kevin Stefanski has helped Baker quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. And, Kevin Stefanski has lasted longer than a year.
All right.
That just sounds bad. We haven't covered the Thursday. I know we skipped over it for a reason, but
Hunter, the next game that we're gonna talk about, I just have one thing to say to you. Kitty goes meow.
Kitty goes meow.
The fuck is that?
Tom Grossi reference.
Every time one of the two cat teams play each other in a game, they just spam hashtag KGM throughout the whole entire live stream. It stands for Kitty Goes Meow.
I'm assuming we're talking about Thursday night.
Jaguars versus the Bengals.
Before we get to the actual football, there's a football story that I'm interested in your thoughts on. Urban Meyer and the club video and the team fallout.
Yeah. He's already come out and apologized and was like, I need to do better. And the Jags are saying, oh, we need to earn his trust back. But he was like, but I'm not going to step down as head coach. That would be stupid. But, at least he came up to the podium and was like,
okay,
yeah, that was me. I'm sorry.
Missing
My bad.
I'm clearly missing what the fuck happened. What, Urban
He was
Meyer?
groping some lady in the club.
So he was, just...
grinding on her.
I was going to say, I thought she was kind of going up on him, and he was just kind of a little enjoying it a little too much, given him being a married man and all.
So, my thoughts on that. I honestly have said this before, and I'll say it again. I think restrictions and requirements for NFL players and coaches are fucking stupid half of the fucking time. If fucking Urban Meyer wants to get his freak on in the club on a Saturday night, who the fuck am I tell him no?
So I don't think really for me, it's not actually about the video as much as it is the video combined with how they haven't won anything. I think the moment that if they started winning this week and just started getting on a roll, no one would give a shit.
Oh no!
But see them stepping out on that, and
I don't disagree with you, Hunter. I mean, I find it fucking stupid that he's going out to a club when he can't even win a fucking football game. It'd make more sense to go out and celebrate. But I mean, hey, if that's how he copes with being a fucking loser, let him go out to the club.
I wasn't reading that. There's an article which talks about how the owner said he needs to earn the team and people's trust back. And in the thumbnail for the article, it's just got this, what I'm guessing is a defender based on his size, just staring at him with, like, looks to kill in the background. And it's the funniest thing ever. Like, oh, yeah, we trust him.
See, I guess the main reason why I'm used to this is the fact that I'm a wrestling fan. I'm just fucking used to the people I look up to going out to fucking clubs and being dumbasses.
Right? Like, I don't really care as much about the video. I think it sets a bad example. I think it was made worse by the fact that his wife was put online how upset she was, which, from a PR standpoint, just looks bad for your team.
Yeah.
Luigi, what's your thoughts on Urban Meyer going to the club?
It sucks that he's a well-known, famous person, because if it was just some random bum in the club, nobody would care.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But
So,
you have to accept certain things with being famous.
yeah, like, you can't just go groping on women all willy-nilly out in the open, out in the public like that, because of who you are. But in terms of the actual game, this is probably the best.
This will, before we get to the specific game, would you agree if he starts winning, this whole business goes away?
Yeah, of course. But will they start winning? Probably not. But,
Especially not if it's actually true that the team doesn't trust him.
Okay, so Luigi, you were saying about this game.
Yeah.
This is probably the best Trevor Lawrence has looked in these 4 games so far. Again, this is the second week that, Urban Meyer knows how to use James Robinson. And, I mean, the Jags were up big, and they knew it was a tale of two halves, right?
That's
in the second half, the Jags came back, crashed on earth, back to reality, like, hey, they're a bad football team. And the Bengals, Joe Burrow every week looks better and better and better, even with a shitty offensive line. And he's got tons of weapons at his disposal, even with T. Higgins missing the last couple weeks. Now, I'm hoping Joe Mixon doesn't miss a lot of time, because he's been really, really good for them as well. They said it was like a pulled hand, something with his calf or calf or
don't you say that. The H word. You said the H word.
Not the hammy. I'm hoping that it's not too serious, but even with that, the Bengals are a pass-first option, so there's just the Bengals are 3-1. Which, did anybody here expect that?
Honestly, no. And see, this was my sleeper game of the week for those of you wondering.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with the term sleeper game for this, because Jaguars and Bengals, who the fuck would go? Well, this is going to be a great game.
Literally nobody.
But I want to slightly disagree with you and your thing about Trevor Lawrence looking good this game. Trevor Lawrence looked good this half.
Yeah. Let me rephrase that. I agree with you there. He looked good for a half, but he looked really good for a half. So
for that first half, this is really the first time I watched him, and I was like, maybe he is good, because I didn't watch college much, so most of the time when a guy gets drafted, I base everything I know about them on how many hype they're getting. And Jesus Christ, did he get some hype? and did not need it, at least not early. But during that first half, I was like, okay, maybe they're going somewhere, which sucks. I picked the Bengals in my Survivor League, but
You're fine.
Anyway, so moving on to our next game, I'm actually going to go to what was my game of the week. And admittedly, I am being extremely biased on my game of the week this week. Giants at the New Orleans Saints.
You know, it's funny. It's also my best game of the week.
what?
No, it's hard to pick a game of the week this week. There was two. No, hold on. Let me look again.
I have three.
Yeah, there's
contenders
only
for
two
game-
options.
I have three contenders for game of the week, and two of them were the fucking Jets and Jaguars.
Jets and Titans was my second option.
Jets and Giants Jets and Titans. They played the Titans.
Yes, I was saying
Yes,
it was either
Jets
gonna be
and Titans.
It was either going to either be the Jaguars, the Giants, or the Jets that got game of the week this week.
I've got to go with the Jets, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
All right, let me have the floor because I.
Congrats on not being winless.
Yes, thank you so much. Because 0-4 would have just, made me cry like I do every week. I never in my entire life, while especially doing these predictions, have ever bet against the Giants. I'm obviously you never want to bet against your team, right? You always want to have some sort of glimmer of hope that they're going to pull out a win. But
Yeah,
obviously, being a Giants fan, I know that.
And then when you do bet against your team, they end up losing because money.
Because money, exactly. And so I'm like, okay, I know how the Giants are. This is a game in the Dome for the first time this season, right? Because the Saints haven't been able to play there due to a hurricane. So this is their first game in the Dome. Okay, they're coming off there, and the Saints have been on and off all year, right? They kill the Packers, then they get killed by the Panthers, then they whip the Patriots' ass, and now they've lost to the Giants. So you can't tell what Saints team you're gonna get. Well, okay, we still couldn't stop Kamara. He had 26 carries for 120 yards. That was just on the ground. So we by no means took their best player out of the game. He was running all over us. But in this game showed how much willpower and how much you just need to let Daniel fucking Jones work. I swear to God. Do you know who was the most accurate and best deep ball passer in the NFL was?
Tom Brady.
Wrong. It was Daniel Jones. But guess what Jason Garrett doesn't like to do for some reason? Throw the ball deep. But whenever Daniel Jones throws the ball deep,
You're telling
magic
me
happens.
the
Yes,
Cowboys
I know.
fan.
You know exactly. But
Luigi, you asked what doesn't Jason Garrett like doing. See, I was gonna say stop clapping, but
that is another thing. That is another thing. Look, it was a defensive half. Something I didn't expect because our defense has been kind of shaky. Daniel Jones probably this year in these first 4 games probably has looked the best he's ever looked since coming into the league. And you can accumulate that with a bunch of different things. I'm going to say this. He's only turned the ball over twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those turnovers didn't even matter because it was
a Hail Mary.
A Hail Mary to end the half. So if you want to speak technical terms, he's only had 1 turnover this year. Okay?
Don't worry, he'll get one more with Diggs.
Mm. Well,
so that's where I was looking to talk about. So we have the NFC offensive Player of the Week going up against the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and that in itself is kind of interesting.
We'll get to
But
that
to
when
talk
we
of
get
Daniel
to it.
Jones, to talk about Daniel Jones, I have to give him credit. There's been a lot of hype this year for Sam Darnold. There's been a lot of hype this year for Dak Prescott. If you look at the top 10 passing leaders, neither Darnold or Prescott are in that list. But you know who is? Danny Dimes.
At number 7, baby.
Let's
At
talk
number 7.
Oh, we also brushed over the fact that Sam Darnold leads the league in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, you didn't know he's actually Cam's long lost twin brother, Sam Newton.
I feel like the twin part might be a little hard to sell.
Nah, we could do that. But I'll tell you this.
What's that movie?
You know who else?
Can't you see the resemblance?
You know who else has looked good every single week? Like, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Has looked better as the weeks gone by. Saquon Barkley. The way that we used him in the second half is the exact way, is how we were using him when we drafted Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones and Saquon were having that connection, his rookie year, that's what we needed, right? You saw how Saquon brushed past that defender on the wheel route. That's exactly the kind of plays that we need to make for Daniel Jones and Saquon. Saquon had 130 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns, and his runs, yeah, he only had like 50-something yards on the ground, but those runs, again, I watched the whole game, power fucking runs. Like, he didn't look like he tore his ACL last year. And it's a breath of fresh air because while I was watching it, obviously my heart was racing and I was pissed and I was happy. And then, just the roller coaster of emotions that the Giants put me through on a weekly basis. But we didn't let the Saints touch the ball in overtime. And Daniel Jones has over 400 yards in the air.
I think that's
Kenny Galladay finally had a fantastic game. 6 for 116. John Ross, his first game as a Giant, and he gets a deep bomb touchdown. Kadarius Toney, with the opportunity, had like 80 yards on 6 receptions. So,
they had to step up too. No Slay, no Shepherd.
Sure. No Slayton, no Shepherd, so you're going to have to, but there's a reason why Kenny Galladay was signed to a big contract. There's a reason why Kenny Galladay is your wide receiver 1 because of that.
So,
and the plays that he was doing.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 1 for them.
He's wide receiver 1 for us. Yeah, Shepherd.
To be honest, I always thought he was number 3 just based on the way that y'all play.
See?
Oh yeah, because for some reason they would never give him like touches. Obviously, with Daniel Jones, his security blankets are Sterling Shepard and Saquon Barkley. And then, in the last couple seasons, because Darius and Daniel were rookies at the same time, so they were able to establish that connection. So if you think about it, yes, Kenny Galladay would be the 3rd, but he's paid as a wide receiver 1.
Well, yeah, I'm just meant like officially on the depth chart. He's number 1.
Officially on the depth chart, he's number 1. Yes.
Wow.
All right, so Luigi, I'm gonna say congratulations to you and the Giants for not choking. But speaking of the word choking, we're gonna segue into our next game.
Before we get to the Falcons, there's a.
Before we get to the Falcons.
We all knew.
Oh, that's not the game that we're going to?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the game we're going to. I just love how Hunter just immediately fucking knows.
Because dude, did you not know that if you scramble the letters of Atlanta Falcons, if you scramble them up, it shows, you can make the word choke out of it?
See, to be fair, we could have made this argument for the Titans this week.
But then again, choking is Falcons strong suit, so it's
Oh,
always a great time. This is, you know what's funny? This is actually my sleeper game.
so before we get to that, though, there is a Saints story that's going on right now in the news because after the game, apparently there are the ramps that people could use to get out in and out of the arena, as well as the escalators and all that, were closed. Only way out was through like one stairwell, which was enormously congested and blocked. It took 30 minutes for people to try to leave the game. And people
This was
are
where in New
freaking
Orleans.
out. Yeah, at the Superdome.
Oh, see, if it was in Atlanta, I would have just called the place fucking what's that fucking chicken? Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A. It's closed on Sundays.
But there's a single disabled hand elevator which had an hour-long wait.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, people were pissed and complained about it. And the stadium decided, no, stairs is going to be how it's going to be for a while now. Speaking legally, like they have that one elevator, but there's an argument to say that there's not appropriate accommodations, and it's like, ugh, why? The reason behind it is they're apparently working on renovations where they would be blocked, which includes the historic ramps. But these feels like the kind of thing you need to be doing in the off season, not whenever you're going to have
games played.
thousands of people there for the game. That it came across my feed this morning, and I figured when we get to it, I ought to bring it up because it is a crazy story.
Anyway, so going back to the choke job, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Washington football team, and well,
Even I thought they weren't going to check it this time, and I was once again.
It's funny in our predictions. Atlanta was favored 4-3.
I believe I took Washington.
I know I feel like seeing this and seeing the Jets game, I feel like I could regret it. But I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'm still giving the Falcons a shot next.
Yeah, Hunter went Atlanta. Me and you went Washington.
And I mean, Matt Ryan didn't do too bad. He was 25 for 42, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns. Cordero Patterson didn't really. Oh, let's see.
He got 3 of them.
Yeah, 3 Cordero Patterson. I was looking at his rushing stats. Had 3 touchdowns.
I was like,
yeah, he had 3 fucking touchdowns. Fucking Mike Davis had the other touchdown for.
Yeah, who had Cordell fucking Patterson in their lineup? Nobody.
I mean, don't worry though. That's fixed for next week.
So I mean, as always, the issue isn't with Atlanta's offense. Atlanta has a great fucking offense. It's the defense that just can't seem to fucking
Chokes.
And apparently it was never Dan Quinn's fault.
Yeah, ain't he your defensive coordinator now?
Yeah, and I fucking hated that decision when we signed him.
And now look at you.
I admit where I was wrong because I mean you look at how bad the Atlanta defense was, and all right, so we're gonna sign him. Oh, exactly. That's my point. Like you've seen how Dan Quinn led Falcons play defense, and you go, all right, we're signing Dan Quinn. What? To be our defensive coordinator. What? No! But fuck it. I'm not going to argue with results.
So anyway, over on the other side of the ball, let's check out Taylor Heineke and how he
Good
did.
old Heineken.
23 for 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. Antonio Gibson with a rushing touchdown on the ground. Then you had J.D. McKissick with 1 touchdown, Terry McLaurin with 2 touchdowns.
Didn't they have
So
a kick return touchdown?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yes, they did. That's why the NFC special teams player was a I can't remember his name, but
DeAndre Carter had
yeah,
the
he had a kickback for a touchdown. The whole NFC East won NFC honors this week, which is crazy.
The NFC
Um,
East is like, you know what? We're fucking sick of your jokes.
we're the NFC beast now, bitch. For 1 week at least.
Yeah,
But
we'll come back
this
to
game,
Earth soon.
So
this game was more so like, okay, we got 2 mediocre teams. Someone's got to win. But it was actually really entertaining. Again, 3 touchdowns to the same person. Yeah, Cordell Patterson has more 3 touchdown games with Matt Ryan than Julio Jones does with Matt Ryan.
speaking of Julio Jones,
Which,
he's
by
been
the
a
way, if people who
disappointment
don't
this year.
know, it's 1-0.
What's 1-0? I missed something.
Cordell Patterson has 1 game with 3 touchdowns with Matt Ryan, and Julio has 0 3-touchdown games with Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I like
with Matt Ryan.
I just said, Julio Jones has been disappointing this year.
Yeah.
Well, granted, he's been
Don't
out the
say.
last 2 weeks. Let's transition to that game. Fuck.
Don't fucking say he's been disappointing. Bitch ass ruining my fantasy team.
Anyway,
But yeah,
Hunter,
so the Titans.
you wanted to talk about the Jets and Titans, so
I think the Jets weirdly are underrated. Not their offense. Their offense is dog shit. But the defense played really good in this one. And after seeing how they played in this one, I decided to go back and watch old highlights from their other games. Their defense is honestly decent. It's not being a bit talked about because of how bad the offense is, but they're playing good, and that feels weird. I'm talking about the Jets and good in the same sentence.
Yeah, no, here's another weird thing to say. The Jets won a game. That's a weird sentence to say, too.
Against the Titans, which we all. What was your projected record for the Titans again?
I had the Titans going 15-2.
I have
And they're already at their 2 losses, so they need to win 13 games straight.
Yeah, so I also had them at 15-2.
Oh, that's horrible. Like,
Do you think this
yeah,
fucking do you think this game was a wake-up call for the fucking Titans, though?
I think it's at least going to be a wake up enough for them to not lose next week. I don't think they can sit there letting themselves having the reputation of losing to the winless team twice in a row.
the Titans, here's the issue. A lot of people are going to make the excuse that, Ryan Tannehill didn't have his 2 best weapons at his disposal, whatnot, because Derrick Henry did his job. He had 33 carries for 157 yards. So Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things. But when the game mattered the most, Ryan Tannehill couldn't deliver.
Were they missing offensive linemen? Because
And see, I feel
that
like
was the weapons he was missing.
See, I feel like that's been an issue with Tannehill for a while. Him not being able to deliver in like big game situations.
Well, he was in the
Tannehill-
AFC title match a couple years ago.
Tannehill is.
I'm not saying that he can't win the big games. I'm just saying his track record for majority of the times when he's put into those situations, he ends up failing more not often than not.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what were the weapons you're referring to? Was there some offensive line out? Because it wasn't. He still threw the ball decently well. The issue is he got hit so many times because there was no protection.
You can argue that.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now 6-8 since this tweet. Chase Claypool losing. Never heard of her.
Yeah, I love it. We're not the only team with a picture.
Hey, it's not like it's at least it's not as bad as the Jaguars picture though. Tweet.
Oh yeah, 0-19 since that tweet.
Yeah, hey, 20 now.
Now, does this mean that the Jets are going to start winning games?
No.
Not regularly, and hopefully not Sunday.
And does this mean that the Jets are? Yeah, I mean, because Zach Wilson didn't. The first half, Zach Wilson was pretty bad. His stats were pretty garbagey, but his second half stats were pretty damn good. Honestly,
That is fucking amazing.
Yeah. You're welcome. All rookie quarterbacks put on a good showing this Sunday. Does Zach Wilson take this performance and build on it, or does he just go back to what he was doing?
I honestly don't. I think he builds on it, but I don't think they just start winning game after game. I still don't see the Jets winning more than 4 games this season.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think let me look at the Jets schedule real quick because next week's not a good indicator for how he's going to do. Because part of what helped Zach Wilson out is he played the Titans defense, who, oh right, they do have one, don't they?
So
and next week they play the Falcons. So I think
they could very
October
much,
24th.
if they end up not having the lead going into the fourth quarter, the Jets will beat the Falcons. So
Yeah, you can say that.
yeah, so
We'll be able to figure out if Zach Wilson, if this game showed Zach Wilson can be good, or if it's just a matter of bad defenses. October 24th when the Jets pay the Patriots.
I mean, to be fair, the Jets have a fairly easy schedule. I mean, up until the fucking Bills, they have the Falcons.
Look at Bills here, but
they have the Falcons who they could very well beat. The Patriots who they could very well easily beat. The Bengals are a maybe. It honestly depends on how fucking
beat up Joe Burrow is by that point.
Yeah, and how he's feeling that day, because Joe Burrow's kind of inconsistent, I've noticed.
The only bad game Joe Burrow has had is against the Bears.
This season.
That was their only loss.
I mean, fair, but I still don't really trust Joe Burrow. Anyway, you have the fucking Colts who don't have fucking what's his name, and that's
Wentz is there.
Huh?
You mean Wentz?
Yeah, so what's his name?
Yeah, he's playing. He's just not playing good.
He's playing, yeah.
He just sucks.
Yeah, so anyway.
Sadly, they get the Buccaneers on the second to last week. And by that point, the Buccaneers might already have.
Okay, so realistically looking at the fucking Jets schedule, I think they actually have a chance to win few of these games if they actually keep on clicking. At least fucking.
If they actually try.
At least 6 of them: Falcons, Patriots, Bengals, maybe Dolphins, Texans, Eagles.
Who are the Jets in the playoffs? What?
I said 6 of the games. They're not making the.
Yeah,
let's be realistic here.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I got the Jets at 4-13 this season, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
The Jets have already gotten how many wins I had for them, so.
I mean, at least
you can't do more than that.
At least they fulfilled Hunter's expectations. I had them at 2 or 3 wins, so they get to fulfill mine. Anyway, so
Next up,
let's move on to a team that we can all laugh at. Chiefs versus the Eagles.
Haha.
Die, Eagles, die on the road to the defeat.
But also, how fucking shitty are the Chiefs? The fact that the Eagles had a chance in this game,
It was close at one point.
it was close for most of it, and still, it was 12 points at the end.
See,
That's because here's the thing, and this is the thing that's been uh, a facto in all the Eagles games outside of the Falcons, pretty much outside of their only win, is that Jalen Hurts puts up a lot of his numbers.
What about Cowboys?
Yeah, he put up most of his numbers in the back half
Oh,
also.
yeah, that's true. He did start
Jalen
putting up
Hurts
numbers
puts
at the end.
a lot of his numbers up in the second half, like when the game is out of reach or when the game's already out of reach. So I wouldn't say that too much. But it's more so of a testament on how bad the Chiefs' defense is as a whole, because again, they're ranked like dead last in points, 31st in yards. Like the only reason why they stay afloat so much is obviously because of Patrick Mahomes.
Just looked it up, and the Chiefs the Eagles had 400 plus yards from Jalen Hurts on his own, 387 passing, and 47 rushing.
see, Hunter, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me on this. I want the Chiefs to continue doing bad, and you know exactly.
Oh yeah, emo Chiefs fan for the win.
Definitely.
I think as long as Patrick Mahomes, they're going to compete no matter what.
I want to see the Chiefs lose and the Cardinals win. I am a Cardinals fan this season purely for Grandpa Cardinal.
But Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he had a somewhat of a rough game against the Chargers. So what does he do? He puts up 5 touchdowns. And who does most of those touchdowns go to? Tyreek Hill. He had like 187 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, fucking rude. Should have gone to Crystal.
I had Tyreek Hill in fucking fantasy. It was fucking great.
Devon had the luxury of having Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill in the same league. Not in any of our leagues, but he has the luxury of having that. So this is more. This game was like, hey, the Chiefs can be the Chiefs. Don't worry about it. The offense will be the offense. The defense will be the defense. And then obviously we see this with the Eagles that the week 1 is still a fluke.
4 catches for 23 yards.
Travis Kelce?
Yeah, bullshit. I still won, but like, man.
Either Travis Kelce is going off and Tyreek Hill's taking the back seat, or Tyreek Hill's going off and Travis Kelce's taking the back seat.
It can never.
It's very rare that you get both.
It can never be both at the same time, as much as I'd like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Well.
What else do we have? Oh, yeah. Hunter, you did mention this. Seahawks and the 49ers.
Yeah. So.
Jimmy G.
All the Jets need to go on a perfect run from here on out is for their opponents to play like the Seahawks did in the first quarter and how the 49ers played in the other 3.
Seahawks only fucking gave up 7 points in the first quarter, though.
Yeah, but also how did they do on their end offensively?
I watched the first half of the 49ers and Seahawks game, and it was a defensive battle. I mean, you expect that with the Seattle San Francisco games. Hard hitting, very defensive. It's also a testament to the point where, okay, Seattle's defense hasn't been playing all too well this season, and neither has their offensive line for Russell Wilson. Counter that, they want to make a statement game or whatever, especially against division rivals. And the second half didn't help when Jimmy Garoppolo went down. Well, he didn't really go down. He just didn't play the second half because of a calf injury. And they were playing Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, to me, Trey Lance didn't look as good as what his numbers showed.
Wait, Jimmy G
Mainly
got
because
hurt?
Yeah, but I mean,
Garoppolo.
they did better without him.
Is it
So
ironic that I call that karma
I don't think so.
for Alphonse predicting CMC's injury?
But hey, at
no,
least
it's not
hey,
the same because Trey Lance, he played better.
look, at least Alphonse didn't choose Jimmy G with his first overall pick like he did a couple years ago.
Oh my God, I remember that. But I can't. I know we've disagreed about some things in the past, but I think this is the most I've ever disagreed with you. I do not expect a defensive game when I see Seahawks and 49ers. I expect all out offense from both teams because neither team has defense.
I mean,
Well, it was the complete opposite here for at least the first half because both offenses are struggling.
yeah. See,
Especially
Hunter,
Seattle.
I get what you're saying, but if we want to be fair, fucking San Francisco did equally as bad in the second quarter as fucking Seattle did in the first. So.
Oh, I agree.
This game
I
didn't
I
really
was more
fucking
quoting
blow up until after halftime.
video,
Yeah.
but
Which again, Trey Lance, I'm not sold on him. Yeah, it was only a half, but he had a chance to come in and show why he was drafted first round. And I mean, that bomb to Debo wasn't even all him. Like maybe a quarter of the yards he threw it. He maybe threw it like 20 yards. Debo did the rest. Trey Lance had a bunch of ugly throws into double coverage. Yes, Trey Lance adds the running ability, but like he tried to run out fourth down and got denied. So this is obviously Garoppolo's team to lose, but I don't think Garoppolo, and I said it a couple weeks ago, I don't think Garoppolo has done anything for him to garner a loss of the starting position. And they said that they'll reevaluate Garoppolo this week. He could play against Arizona, but we don't know yet. And on Seattle's side, they just need to get Russell Wilson protection, and they need to help him on defense because if they don't help him, I feel like he's out the door this offseason.
so I think that Jimmy G probably will not keep his job. I don't know that he loses it this week particularly, but because I think what they're going to do, if he physically can play, he's going to play against the Cardinals, get crushed by them, and then they're going to go, all right, you're done.
I mean, hell, the Cardinals are 4-0. I mean, Trey Lance ain't gonna go in there and do that either.
I don't think either of them would win, but I think they're giving him the shot against the Cardinals as a excuse to be like, here's your last chance, amaze us, or we're gonna move on.
I don't know. We'll see with that. Next game, let's go to a rookie quarterback that had a tale of two games. Justin Fields playing a much better matchup with Detroit, and I'll say this: the only person that went Chicago last week was Alphonse. Because we all thought Detroit, this would be the one game, their first win. You know, they're the best 0-3 team. You know, Chicago looked rough. Well, Justin Fields looked really, really good this game. Him and Darnell Mooney really had a very good connection in the game. And not only did Justin Fields look good, but on the opposite end, Detroit,
That looked bad.
so many missed opportunities. You had 4 trips to the red zone, and you turn it over on downs, turn the ball over, uh, fail a 4th down conversion on a outpost. Um, they screwed themselves. They could have easily had 28, 35 points, but they got screwed over. They screwed themselves.
I like to believe that the Bears, and particularly Justin Fields, just spent the week thinking about the 47 yards jokes and just took that as fuel.
Oh,
And
they
went into the
definitely
game.
did. They definitely did. Because I know, speaking about it on the podcast that unfortunately we weren't able to upload, we didn't give Chicago a chance for this game either. So, it's.
I mean, I thought it'd be close. I thought it'd be close, but the Lions, I don't know what to think with the Lions anymore. I've been thinking that they were just
They had their
bad.
chances. They had plenty of chances. They just couldn't capitalize on their chances. The worst thing to come out of this game, though, was the fact that David Montgomery is hurt.
See,
Um,
that's the thing that summarizes the Lions, though, to a T, though, that one sentence, having chances and not being able to capitalize on
Oh,
them.
I was like, what does David Montgomery getting hurt have to do with the Lions?
David Montgomery is out at least 4 to 5 weeks.
Boo.
Yeah, it hurts my fantasy team too.
I don't have him, so he'll be all right.
And so David Montgomery gave a little cushion for Justin Fields. Like, yeah, Justin Fields made some throws and stuff, but he was riding David Montgomery. Well, now that he's not there for at least 4 to 5 weeks, does this, and Justin Fields has been announced as the starter going forward, even with Andy Dalton healthy. So what does this do for Chicago's play calling? Because now you got Damian Williams, who's the starter, but he's not a David Montgomery. So now you got to pretty much ride Justin Fields now, right?
I'd say so. Who else would fucking Fields target without Montgomery on the field?
How about Allen Robinson? No?
Well, he had a couple good throws or good catches.
Yeah, throughout the season, he's done nothing. His agent is speaking out, being pissed about the receptions Mooney got in the game. Which honestly rang out like a dad yelling to get his kid put in the game. But
Well, that's the thing without Robinson. That doesn't sound like a team player to me. They got the win, so.
Oh yeah, his agent though, to be fair, doesn't really care about his team's wins or losses. He wants him to get big numbers so that at the end of this year, Allen Robinson can get big money,
which would garner the agent to get money as well, obviously.
Yeah. But whenever I read the article, part of me is like, yes, do that. I need the fantasy points. But also, it just sounds silly. Apparently, Justin Fields had said that Mooney is staying after practice to work on the chemistry, and he does not mention Robinson doing any of this.
Yeah.
He didn't say he didn't do it, but he did not mention him.
So.
And, I believe you put in the work, you get the results.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about this game, so moving on to the next game. Speaking of a team that needed their first win, Colts and the Dolphins. We all picked
Colts finally got their first win.
I believe we all picked the Colts as well.
The three of us, yes. Someone loaned on Miami. No, I'm sorry. Couple people picked Miami. It was actually 4-3. But Indianapolis was favored. No, it was 4-3.
Okay.
But Carson looked a little better in this game. Obviously, I'm figuring he's playing hurt at the moment. And the Dolphins, again. Hunter? Have you gone back on your take for the Dolphins yet?
Yes.
Have you done that?
I
can't remember if you have or not.
I hadn't mentioned it yet.
But are you?
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm like, last year was a fluke. And that's rough, but it happens. That's when you talk about sports all the time, you're gonna get a few things wrong.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is that you can't become just because. Hold on, let me word this right. People claim that they're experts and whatnot, but experts, even the big guys, even the Good Morning Football and NFL Game Day Morning and all that, they get games wrong too. They get takes wrong too.
I mean,
so it's just a part of
of
predicting these things because you can never know what the hell's gonna happen.
I did this pick'em league a few years ago and I beat every single expert. Does that mean they're not experts? No. It just means that sports are unpredictable, especially the NFL.
Any given Sunday.
For sure. Any given goddamn Sunday.
We talk about that as an expression, but also, just a moment, that is a really good movie.
So anyway, so talk about the game itself.
It was not the given Sunday for the Dolphins, though.
Carson Wentz went 24 for 32, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had a touchdown on the ground, and Morale Cox had 2 touchdowns in the air.
So that's a player that I thought last year.
Taylor or Cox?
No, his name is Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah, I'm just gonna laugh about the fact that it says Cox. So.
But yeah, he was definitely a red zone target for Phillip Rivers last year, and I was hoping that he was the same this year. But Carson Wentz's favorite target this year has been Zach Pascal. So it's good to see that Mo Alley Cox was able to have himself a game.
So Hunter, I'm gonna ask you this question since I'm looking over this shit. Should I pick Tony Pollard up in fantasy? Is he that reliable and good?
Are you needing him for depth or a starter?
I need to drop Singletary.
Yeah. I've got Pollard in the NFL league, so I haven't started him yet. But I feel like I have a bad week. It'll be good to try to see how that two-headed right.
Oh no, I'm not dropping Singletary. I mean Montgomery.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, wait, Singletary. Yeah, I would go ahead and pick up Pollard.
All right. So anyway, over on the other side of the ball, Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett didn't exactly have a bad game. 20 for 30, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns. No touchdowns on the ground. You had Gesicki and Devontae Parker each with a touchdown in the air. So, I mean, I'm gonna disagree with Hunter saying that the Dolphins should be written off right now. Because I mean,
I'm not writing them off, but I don't have them being as dominant as I had at the beginning of the year.
If what Luigi says is true about fucking Brissett and fucking Tua being able to run the same offense, then the Dolphins shouldn't have much issues getting back into the swing of things if that's the case. Because at one point you need to fucking either admit the fact that they're losing is because of who they're missing on their offense, or like Hunter said, they're just not as good as what we thought they were.
They are not who we thought they were.
And see, I don't
No.
Ring to it.
see. I'm not ready to admit that it's because of Tua that they're not winning.
I think even with Tua, they still lose all these games.
I think with Tua, they win one more of those games.
So anyway,
Okay.
their schedule coming up. They have the Buccaneers coming up next week. So, I mean, they're losing that.
Yeah, L. Major L.
You have the fucking Jaguars after that, the Falcons, who they could easily choke against, the Bills, they're losing, Texans, they could easily fucking beat, Ravens, losing, Jets, maybe, I don't fucking know. So, I mean, it's a back and forth schedule coming up for them, so, I don't know. I don't think they're out of things just yet.
That's fair. I more or less, when I said I was wrong, if y'all remember, I had them winning like 13 games.
Yeah, I know. And that was, I remember it. That was a very
I'll admit
bold
that.
claim.
I mean, to be fair though, y'all both had the Titans winning 15 and they lost to the Jets.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Yeah, touche.
Anyway, so moving on to what I'd have to agree with Hunter being the most disappointing game of the week, or one of the most disappointing games of the week. Buccaneers at the Patriots. I believe we're down to the last two games anyway.
We are.
Yeah.
And I mean, on a story point, this was still everything I wanted out of it. But when it came down to the actual football, there just wasn't there.
All I have to say is Bill Belichick.
I say this.
I say Bill Belichick is a bitch.
I say this. I say this. Here's the thing. This game obviously was Tom Brady's return, and who knows Tom Brady more? Who knows Tom Brady more than Bill Belichick, right?
His wife.
Well, and you know what aspect I mean. But I think Bill coached all the way up until the end a really good performance against his former quarterback. Because, again, he knows Tom Brady inside and out. Tom Brady's game has not changed at all. So, and I'll tell you this, everyone's talking about how Brady got his first win against, the Patriots, blah, 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 but Mac Jones looked really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best rookie performances this year.
Also, we see that there was finally collected payment for Bill Belichick selling his son's soul for those Super Bowl wins. We watched live as they collected payment.
Yeah, it looked weird, but
this game showed one thing, and it's a thing that we've all known for a while. Nick Folk is unreliable in the clutch.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't care how, see, that's the thing, though. He was making kicks. I think he had 35 consecutive, but fucking Chisel Adonis put it best on his fucking reaction video when he was doing his NFL fucking stream. I don't care how many fucking kicks Nick Folk makes consecutively. When it comes down to big game moments, he's inconsistent and unreliable.
Put your motherfucking head back down. It really is, though.
I mean, the Patriots had every chance to win this game. It was 4th and 3, 56-yard field goal when they tried winning the game when Nick Folk missed the kick. I would have fucking relied on fucking Mac Jones's legs at that point. I mean, at that point, you had nothing to fucking lose. I mean,
So
get in first.
speaking of bad kickers, the Saints have fired Aldrich Rosas.
Oh man, he was a Pro Bowl kicker
Wait,
for us.
wait, but this is where this story gets funny, and they replaced him with just this all-star, Cody Parkey.
Oh, good God Almighty! They should have just kept fucking Rosas.
Right? I'm like,
Dummy.
look, I know Rosas has had some high-profile misses for y'all lately, but
So what the
you're gonna
fuck
get
happened
double
to?
doink.
So what the fuck happened to Will Lutz? Did they let him go?
No, he's hurt.
Oh.
But again, Mac Jones was the kind of like the third wheel in this game, right? Because everyone's talking about Belichick and Brady, but Mac Jones again played a really good game. And here's one claim that Brady cannot, which I don't know if it's 100% true. I would assume that he has, but Tom Brady may have beaten every single team in the NFL. But he cannot claim to have thrown a touchdown on every single team.
Yeah, but you know what he can claim for? I really hope that we can have this stat be true at the end of the year. Wins in Foxborough, Tom Brady 1, the New England Patriots 0.
There's potential there.
That stat, I read that and I was just like, if that somehow maintains, this will be one of my favorite obscure stats in the world.
Okay, but Luigi, do you agree with me on the fact that Belichick should have went for it on fourth down there?
Oh yeah, yes, 100%.
I
feel like
What
Belichick
was
was
the
just giving
in fourth
that
and
to
what?
Brady.
It was
It
fourth.
was like 4th and 3.
It was 4th and 3, and
3?
it was a 56-yard attempt.
Yeah, I would go for it. I think Mac Jones. I'm not someone who thinks Mac Jones just outplayed Brady. I don't believe that. I think that's pushing things a bit because he didn't win. He didn't get his team in a better position to kick easier field goal at the end. And so, but I think he played good enough to give him the chance on 4th and 3.
So anyway, Buccaneers won the game 19-17 because Nick Folk is a bum. Anyway, moving
Brian,
Put your
suck up, Jacob.
motherfucking head down.
Anyway, moving on to the final game of the week, Raiders at the Kings of the AFC West, the Los Angeles
Where's his
Chargers.
crown?
San Diego.
Yeah,
King, where's his crown?
Bold, my eyes.
But
Sorry.
seriously though, I think the Chargers did great. I had them winning. I often not the one picking the less picked team. I don't want to say underdog because the Chargers were favorited in the team, but in our predictions, more people picked the Raiders.
Yeah, Vegas was 4-3.
The three of us actually have a brain and talk to each other about this stuff, so we know what's up. It's why we're this is why we're in the lead.
Yes, it's this game. Obviously, the Raiders owned the third quarter, but everything else was the Chargers. Justin Herbert is undefeated on primetime football.
I kind of want to see more games like this. I don't have this as a favorite game because it's not about the football as much as it was the crowd.
Oh, it was more Raiders fans there.
Oh, no, that's not what and they made this point on air. The guy said, this is the first time I've ever seen it where both teams' quarterbacks are having a tremendous noise. Whenever Derek Carr was up, the stadium was roaring, making it hard for him to hear. And when Herbert was up, the stadium was roaring, making it hard for him to hear. And all I can think is, God, I kind of want to be in that environment. Then again, there's a bunch of Raiders fans, and they are
Crazy.
Yeah, Raiders and Phillies fans are. Oh my God, a game with the two of them. Ugh.
Yeah. This game I thought was going to be a little bit more,
Close.
or entertaining. But I mean, that just shows that okay, now the Raiders can come back down to earth. They're not bad by any means. But they can chill. But you got three teams in the AFC West at 3-1, and none of them are the Chiefs.
Yeah, which is something I don't think I would have said going into this season.
Oh, no, of
But I
course not.
mean, the thing is, look at who the Chiefs have lost to. The Chiefs lost to the Ravens. A bit of an upset, but not too crazy. Chiefs lost to the Chargers, who we've all said were going to be good, and I think we agreed they would get at least one win against them.
Yeah.
So it's not actually that wild that they're 2-2.
Yeah. So.
So anyway, moving on to the stats for this game before we finish up. Derek Carr, 21 for 34, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. You had touchdown by Waller and Hunter Renfrow in the air. Over on the other side, Justin Herbert, 25 for 38, 222 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eckler with the rushing touchdown. Then you had Jared Cook and Eckler and Donald Parham with a touchdown in the air. Honestly, when it comes to the fucking Chargers and the Raiders and honestly the fucking AFC West in general, I think the only team among those three that shouldn't be there, and I'm pretty sure you two will agree, would be the fucking Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, play who you're scheduled, but the Broncos are
Yeah.
certainly going to be at the bottom at the end of the year.
Yeah, I believe when this whole division race finishes, it'll be the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers at the top in the playoffs. Because we we predicted 3 or all of these teams to go to the playoffs, didn't we?
I just predicted the Chiefs and the Chargers. I
Yeah,
actually
I
had
just
the
said
Broncos
Chiefs and
over the
Chargers.
Raiders.
Oh no, yeah, it was me.
I
I predicted this whole entire division to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wait, including the Broncos?
Yeah, I predicted the
No.
AFC. I predicted the
Oh, did
AFC
you?
West, and then one of y'all predicted another division, the whole entire one to go.
I had the NFC West.
Yeah.
Hunter said the entire NFC West, yeah.
But
The West divisions?
Do you still feel the same way?
But
I still feel for sure the Rams and the Cardinals are going. I don't know how I feel about Seattle and San Francisco at the moment.
yeah. Well,
So moving on to
it's still early in the season. To our
anyway,
predictions.
yeah, so moving on to our predictions for the next week. I have Rams and Seahawks as the first game.
Yep.
Of course.
And I have the Rams.
I am going with the Rams.
It's hard for me right now to pick this because you would think that Rams would be the easier. It would be an easy, right?
If you would like, I can give you the percentage of people picking each team in a field of like 16,000.
Okay.
74% are picking the Rams and 26% have picked Seattle.
Wow, that's a lot more one-sided than it is on ESPN. ESPN has a dead even.
Yeah, I'm looking in my Pick'em league, and that's what it's showing.
The Rams had a bad game. and Seattle had a good game to avoid going 1-3, but the Rams get it done on primetime. So I'm going the Rams.
Anyway,
So the next game, I have it being a lot. I'm iffy on, and I feel nervous picking this, but I'm picking the Falcons over the Jets in Tally-Ho, London.
Yes, this is a London game,
I'm so
so
glad
no
the
one's going
London
to be
game-
watching it at 9:30.
I'm so glad the London game is a shitty one.
I'm going with the Jets this game.
Like, I don't. If it was a team that I'd want to watch, I'd probably get up at 8:30 and watch it because football. But
Because
Jets and the
football.
Falcons, I think I
Yeah.
can feel okay sleeping in.
Yeah. I think the win against the Titans gave them a confidence boost, and we know how Atlanta is with blowing leads, but I don't think they'll. I'm not even going to say it because then it's going to backfire on me. I'm just going to go Atlanta.
So
See,
81%.
see-
By the way, I think
See,
that's
I
kind of
don't
neat.
think Atlanta has a chance to blow a lead. You can't blow a lead if you never have one to begin with. I don't think Atlanta gets a lead to begin with in this game in the first place.
Really?
Oh, that's a claim.
81%, by the way, to 19 in favor of Atlanta.
Yeah. Next is actually might be a underrated game. Pending. Let's see how
I think this is the
Joe
sleeper
Burrow
game.
does. Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers are traveling to face Joe Burrow and the Bengals, both 3-1. Green Bay's favored by 3 points.
I agree with
I
that.
think,
I'm going with Green Bay as well.
I think Green Bay gives Cincinnati a wake-up call. And I'll go ahead and say this now. Green Bay by 7.
All right. Luckily, that game was not taken. Because surprisingly, we had 2 people put in their picks before any of us,
Wow,
which usually never happens.
I feel like I was pretty early. I haven't. I might change that later. It felt it in the moment, so I wanted to go for it.
Yeah. As much as I like Cincinnati and I love Joe Burrow, I'm going Green Bay.
This game I think is going to be interesting because it's a game of 2 teams that are way better than their records. The 0-4 Lions against the 1-3 Vikings
In Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going.
I feel like the
Minnesota.
Lions will capitalize on their things, but yeah, I agree.
I'm not picking the Lions in a close game again because I did it for the Bears and now I'm mad at them.
You did it for the Bears. Rikishi did it for the Rock.
For the Bear.
I
For
did
the
it.
Bear.
For the Rock. I did it for the people. Next is a tight game.
Yeah, actually, in the Pick'em League, it's 51 to 49%.
In favor of who?
Broncos.
Yep, I trust the Broncos more than I do washed up Ben.
I'm going with the Broncos as well. I've said this already earlier.
Yeah, we previewed this earlier, but I am going to go with the Steelers.
All right. This game, though, should be definitely one-sided. Dolphins at Tampa Bay.
Tampa, no question.
I feel like Brady's going to play kind of pissed off that he didn't get a touchdown.
And is he going to throw 6?
Yeah, like, honestly, the game, I credit to how classy he was regarding the whole scenario. You know, afterwards he's like, look, everything's been made about me. It's not about me. We're a team. We came here as a team to win. But, like, you know that he wanted to do more, and then the rain and everything kind of derailed everything.
Yeah. This game, what does the Pick'em League have for this game?
98% Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay, and
What about the next game?
hold on, I'm gonna go say this now. Bucks by 17.
By 17?
Yes.
Nice.
All right. That's 4 games taken. All right. Now, what is the pick'em for this next game?
58% for the Saints, 42 for Washington.
Yep, that's what ESPN has it as too. 57% Saints. This is the good week for the Saints, so I'm gonna go
Yep.
Saints.
Yeah, next week they'll suck again. I don't know who they're facing, but it's just how it works.
The Saints are playing the Seattle Seahawks
Oh, I
on
picked
Monday
against
Night
them anyways.
Football. So everyone's going New Orleans?
Yep.
2-4.
And for the Panthers to
Next,
bounce back.
at home against Jalen Hurts. Must hurt.
14% of people pick the Eagles. And I think that's
Yeah,
like
but
13%.
I'm not a part of that 14%.
Yeah, I
Neither
think
am
that's
I.
13%
I
higher.
honestly think Carolina comes out and just murders Philadelphia this week.
You hope.
I think that Carolina, as head coach Matt Rule, gets arrested for harming our national bird.
For animal abuse?
Yeah, not just animal abuse. That is a bald eagle.
Yeah, but see, we're Panthers, and we just naturally hunt things like that. So is it really animal abuse, or is it just natural selection?
Okay, Charlotte. Anyway, I think this game. You say a team that's going to come out and destroy. I think the Titans are going to kill the Jaguars.
Oh, definitely. I have to agree with that.
I don't know if they're going to kill the Jaguars, actually. I think they're going to win, but I'm waiting to see the injury news before I am ready to confirm that they're just going to slaughter them.
Yeah, I'll say
So
that.
Because
who you looking at on the injury list then?
A.J. Brown and Julio, just because we all expected them to just crush the Jets. I don't feel like you lose to a team like that and are allowed to be like, oh no, don't worry, they'll just dominate next week.
Yeah. Next, we got the New England Patriots going to Houston to take on the Texans.
I am going with New England.
A whopping 8% of people have picked the Texans, which is crazy.
How much longer is Tyrod Taylor out though?
At least next week. I know he's not coming back for this game. I've already saw something about that.
Yep, then I gotta go New England.
Yeah, I mean,
We are
Tyrod
going
Taylor
New England.
plays. That game suddenly gets interesting.
Oh yeah, I might switch then, but I'm not gonna switch if he's not.
The Bears against
The
Raiders.
The Los Angeles, or sorry, Oakland. I'm sorry, Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm going
Vegas is favored by 5.5.
Oh, really? I figured it'd be more. I'm going Vegas.
Same.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Without David Montgomery, I feel like they're gonna put too much pressure on Justin Fields, and something's gonna happen. Although this is a revenge game for Khalil Mack.
Yep. Is it though? I mean, well, I know we say that, but like,
does he care?
he suddenly doesn't have
maybe.
to. He doesn't have to play under John Gruden.
This game could potentially be game of the week. Cleveland at the Chargers.
Right now, it's at 63% Chargers.
Chargers are favored 1.5.
I am going with Cleveland here.
I'm go Chargers.
See, this is hard for me to pick too. As much as I love Herbert. This could go either way.
I'm sorry, but Miles Garrett has been way too impressive for me to go against Cleveland's defense right now.
But again, this is the revamped Chargers offensive line who have been playing really, really good.
If
So
Jarvis Landry suddenly said he was coming back, I'd probably switch to Cleveland. But as it stands, I have Los Angeles' offense being just a little too much.
I'm gonna go Chargers for now, but that might change.
So, with 95% of sensible people picking the Cowboys, I join them as we plan on whooping on the Giants.
It's not gonna be a whooping. I'm going the Giants. Obviously, it's not gonna
And
be
so, like
a
we said last
one-sided
week,
game.
John. So, what about you?
I'm going with the Cowboys for now.
So let me just say this, okay? So when it was Hunter versus John, I went with Hunter, okay? Now when it's me versus Hunter, John goes with Hunter. Okay,
Because the
so Hunter,
Cowboys.
who are you gonna go with when me and John play later this season?
You know, I feel like that's a question for later this season.
Yeah, let's not rush into things now. We don't need to ruin our friendship this early.
Yeah. Next, the
All right,
Arizona
so
Cardinals are
Cowboys
hosting the
versus
San Francisco
Giants.
49ers.
I picked the Cowboys to win, the Panthers and the Giants.
Of course you do, you fucker.
Go in Arizona here.
Go in Arizona.
Yeah, they should continue their undefeated streak. Which, by the way, I wonder where do they lose their next game?
But
Because
I'm loading their schedule now.
they're at Cleveland next week. Then they're home against the Texans, home against the Packers, at San Francisco, and then they play the Panthers at home as well.
I believe they have 3 chances to lose this season. Cardinals or the fucking Browns game, the Packers, or the Panthers game. One of those 3. I honestly think it comes against Green Bay though.
I agree with you about 3, but I don't agree which 3. I think it's the Browns, Packers, or the second Rams game.
I'm honestly I feel like they have a more than 3. I feel like they're gonna lose the second Rams. The potentials. I'm sorry, the second Rams game, one of the Seahawks games.
No,
I think they sweep San Francisco.
I'm not saying that they have a potential to lose those 3. I'm saying that their first loss will come at one of those 3 games, either the one against the Browns, the Packers, or the Panthers. You were asking when
Okay,
you
yeah,
asked
yeah,
when
yeah.
their next potential loss is. It's going to be one of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, I agree then. My bad.
What I meant when I answered the question is, if they do not lose one of the 3 games I mentioned, I don't know that they do lose.
Oh, it's just potential.
But of course, everything changes throughout a season, and the 49ers and the Seahawks could just get better again, and that puts them back into contention to beat them.
And see, that's what the question was. Where do we think their first loss is going to be? Honestly, I think it's going to be against Green Bay. So
It's a definite possibility. Is the Green Bay game in Green Bay?
It's at Arizona.
No, it's in Arizona.
Well, that'll help them. I don't think they
Yeah.
can beat Green Bay in what's the
In
Packers
Green Bay.
Stadium called?
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau, that's it. I knew it began with an L.
Let's get these last 2 games out of the way real quick. Sunday Night Football. Bills
Bills.
at the Chiefs.
Going Bills.
48% people picking the Bills and 52% picking the Chiefs, and I am joining the 48. Go Bills.
You know what's funny?
Buffalo.
So I will go Buffalo also, although that's subject to change. But I will like to say we're still waiting on 2 people to send picks, but everyone has said Buffalo so far, which kind of makes me iffy.
See, I'm the opposite way. If everyone's picking one way, I feel the need to go that way to avoid being caught in the wind.
Yeah, you're kind of right. And then we got Monday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens.
So
I got Baltimore.
I am
as
going.
always, I'm the guy who likes the stories, and this game I have no care about the actual football game of it, but man, thinking about the history of the Baltimore Colts and all that,
The
it's going to
Baltimore
be some
Colts.
interesting storylines.
Anyway,
Baltimore's going to win.
Anyway, I'm going Baltimore, but something I just noticed as of 2 hours ago, Christian McCaffrey is now in practice.
Yes, he is questionable for this week.
Yes. So that'll be good for y'all. Although I don't think you'll need him, but I mean, the more power to you. Before we end it off,
My fantasy team needs him, so
one thing before we end it off, and then we can end it off. It looks like the Packers are going to be signing Jalen Smith.
Nice.
I mean,
From Ian Rappaport himself.
good for them. That's not smart, but go for it.
More power
All
to
right.
him, I guess. Anyway,
End it off, John.
I wanted to thank you all once again for coming out to the Extra Point podcast, where, once again, we're going to try this. We may miss the point, but we will not miss
The extra
point.
Actually, that one wasn't half bad.
Did we do it?
Yeah, it wasn't half bad.
I feel like we did it.
I am going to try and get this up by, what's today, Wednesday? I'm going to try and get this up by Saturday afternoon if possible.
Yes.
Because, I mean,
Sounds good.
I could upload it tomorrow on Thursday, but I kind of like having a consistent schedule with uploads anyway, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that,
But
we will see you all again next time. And what the hell was that?
that's how you end it.
Yeah, so
Bye-bye, guys.
I apologize for that.